Now, you mentioned some comparisons with other books. What kind of reviews have you received for this book?
Well, the book has gotten very good reviews so far. They continue to come in. I've had reviews from Reader's Favorite, Barnes and Noble, and different people, word of mouth, that have read the book and have kindly written what they feel about the book, that they enjoyed the book, or how they perceive the book. And I'm always interested in hearing all kinds of feedback on the book. I think that's what helps to continue to move the book along, make it more appealing to someone who might be considering giving it a chance and reading it.
Now, you said that it took you 10 years to write this book. Are you working on anything else?
I am. I'm always working on something besides the main project that I'm doing. I'm a writer that tends to get bored a little easy, and so therefore I will continue on a project for a while and then maybe go off on something else, take a step back, and then when you return to the project you're originally working on, it gives you a fresh outlook toward it, and you can begin again. I'm currently working on my second romance drama. It's called Willows Walk, and it's right now just in second draft. I think I'm enjoying it so far. I think it's going to be another one. I wouldn't want to compare it to Passions in Paris. It's an entirely different storyline altogether than what Passions was. But there again, it revolves around three people. It's very dramatic and totally fictitious, but I'm enjoying it so far, and I hope that when I get it ready, that it too will be received well when it comes out.
What inspired you to write this book?
I think emotions. I oftentimes will use my work as therapy for myself. I don't know if anybody would understand when I say that, like what I mean. It's just I've always used poetry in particular to express myself, maybe, getting certain feelings that I've got bottled up in me, getting them out, and helping me to cope with whatever it is that's bothering me a little bit better. And I do that a lot as well with my storylines when I write. So that is basically where Willows Walk is coming from. I say that it's fictitious. It is based a little bit on my own personal life, and it's just a good way to cope with things that maybe you have no other way of coping with, or that you'd like to see turn out a certain way. So if it can turn out that way in a written piece, then at least you've got that to read to help you along the way.
Now, Passions in Paris is a very large novel. Why did you write such a large book?
Well, I had a lot to say, and the characters that I created for it, I put them in a lot of different situations where they keep interacting with the main antagonists of the story. And the longer I went, the further I went in the book, the more I found that I had to say, or not only that, but these characters have a way of taking over and telling you what they want and where they want to go and what they want to say. So the further I went, it just kept blossoming and blossoming until finally it ended up with the page count that it did. And to try to cut any of it out, it's very difficult as a writer to do that, because this piece that you're working often becomes like your own child, and you would not cut your child's arm off or their foot off or something. And it's that way very much when you're writing. Of course, every word that you write you want to leave in, but you know that it's not necessary or it's repetitious. But it is very difficult to edit something that you're very proud of. And so in the end, it ends up probably being maybe a bit longer than what it might be or should be. But still, I'm very proud of the finished product, and if I had it to do over again, I don't think I would take any more out than I did.
Now, what about cover design? How important do you think that is, and how do you approach cover design?
I think you have to have a primary idea in your head of what it is that you want the cover to project. I think a cover, first and foremost, has got to be a condensed picture of the story that is within the covers. I think it's got to be able to pull a potential reader's eye directly to it, not necessarily saying that that's done through bold lettering or a very in-your-face type of picture, but it's got to be able to reflect what the story is about. With Passions in Paris, it is a love story, and the cover projects that very, very vividly. This couple is spotlighted in what looks to be a white light shining on them on a black background, and it exactly tells you when you first see it what this story is about. And I think with cover design that is very important. You can have an art department, if you're fortunate enough to work with an art department, to give them ideas of what you would like to see, but that doesn't necessarily say that that's what you're going to end up getting. I have worked with cover departments in the past where it was just a fiasco trying to get my idea the way I wanted it projected. And so with Passions in Paris, I did it myself along with my marketing representative, and we worked together on the theme of what it was we wanted. I searched until I found a few images that were what I was hoping to have, and we narrowed it down to the one that we chose. But I don't think that we could have chosen anything better than what we did. And so that's how I like to approach cover design for a book.
If you had to choose, what would you say you really enjoy the most about writing?
For me, I would say the expression and the feelings, that the emotions that I put into my work, that I like to be able to get out of my work when I have written it and then read it back to myself. I enjoy that. As I said before, when I read a book, I like expressive words. I like to be able to feel exactly what the author felt when they were writing this, and that's the way I am with my own work. And I hope that whatever I write, that people that read it can understand me, where my mind was at the time I wrote it, and hopefully get the same reaction from it that I had when I wrote it.
So the other side of the coin, what would you say that you enjoy the least about writing?
The business side of it, marketing. I'm not the greatest at it. I try my best. To me, I like the creativeness of writing, and I find that the business side of it, for me anyway, detracts away from that. I'm not the greatest business head, and I would just by far rather sit down and just work at writing it and not have to worry about what happens after you finish it. So I think I would probably have to say just the business side of it, trying to get it out there and keep it before the public's eye, and going after all the things that you have to do to keep it before the public eye.
If you had to choose, what would you say is the number one reason why someone should buy this book?
Well, I would hope it would be because they're interested in reading a really good romance that is going to maybe fulfill their ideals of what romance would be.